Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for inviting me. Thank you to be very privileged to be here. Let's go to the PowerPoint. It's a question and answer session, okay? Right, my wife and I have been privileged to spend about 15 years in Yunnan, China. You know, in trouble, you come back to Singapore, then you ask children, ask kindergarten kids, where does rice come from? Half the children say rice cooker, the other half say supermarket, yeah. Okay, so I'm privileged now to join NUS. It's a college of undergraduates whose theme actually is community engagement. So we have students from every faculty, and they do their electives around on the theme of community. So instead of creating programs, we actually celebrate life with people from different sections of society. So this is where I was for past 15 years. This is the Thai-speaking part of China, Sipsong Pana. If you speak Thai, it's Neng Song Sam Si Hao Jek Pek. Okay, so Thai speakers. This is my son, who is now 16 years old. I brought him there when he was about 3 or 4 months old. This is at the Chinese-Burmese border. The thing is that I try to show you all this because I didn't know how to speak Chinese before I went to China. I'm from Sikap Secondary School, from the generation that we didn't have to pass Chinese. So the first time I actually took a patient history, learning to listen, was a mother who was breastfeeding. So breastfeeding is very important, right? So I asked, 你有没有给你的牛奶给你的 baby 喝? Always she say, 我不是牛. Right, so much for caring for patients. That's how it started, but what saved me over there was these folks, they also don't speak Chinese. Right? They spoke their so-called minority tribal language. And we had a lot of time learning to listen to each other. But life is very tough. Sometimes people have this misnomer that you go to countryside and you see people very happy. You say, oh, they have so little yet they are so happy. But it's not really true. You know, they can only smile at you. I come back to Singapore, and sometimes I'm a bit concerned. Okay, I like the relaxed life. I sleep at 10 o'clock. But sometimes people say, oh, we have a slower GDP, 4% is good enough. You know, poverty is no fun. The countryside is only romantic for those who are not obliged to stay in it. Okay? It's no fun to be cold. It's no fun to work hard. It's no fun to start a wood fire. Right? It's very romantic to light a candle. But technically, candlelight costs more per night than electricity. If you calculate carefully, a candle, if you take candles to light your house, it will cost far more than switching on the bulb. Okay? So I'll show you a video about countryside life. I think this is we can dim the lights a bit. This is the Chinese-Burmese border, the Nujiang. So you know, when we came back, and I brought them to Pasir Ris Park. And then my kids asked me, Dad, is this a park? She was 5 years old then, my daughter. Is this a park? I said, yeah, this is a park. She said, Singaporean very strange, no? You know why? She said, you know, the commonest word here, the parents tell the children, don't run. I said, oh, okay, what's the second commonest word? She said, the second commonest, don't run so fast. Okay, that's my daughter. Right? She's now 20 years old. Same age as Dr. Daniel Fang's studying engineering now. So question time. Where's the mic? Question time. Why were they crossing the river? To go to the market, right? Okay. So that's quite obvious. They were crossing because they were going to the market, right? Next question. You saw all those people going, right? This one discuss, not exam. Who do not get to go across the river? Think about it. Who don't get to cross the river? It's okay? Right. The handicapped, who else? The sick, who else? Elderly. What else? Pregnant. Okay. So, as I was sitting down there watching, of course this question came to me. If I take going to the market, see, the market is not just a place to buy and sell. It's a place to connect. It's a place to meet people. And it's very important. It's central focus. Okay. Even in healthcare, we adopt market principles because in some way the market drives society. When I first went there, I started training village doctors. And I told them that I would teach the village doctors how to make money. And the Communist Party officials were very uncomfortable. They say, 我们是为人民服务的. We came here to serve the people. I said, yeah, you must serve the people, but the clinic must be alive. You must learn to earn some money. I teach them how to earn money, earn it honestly. So they don't know what to do with me. So they used to introduce, say, this is Dr. Tan from Singapore, a doctor sent by his church to serve the poor people here in the true spirit of the Communist Party. I said, I don't know how you reconcile it, but you did it. Yeah, okay? But there are some people who don't get to come to the market because they have nothing to buy, nothing to sell. Okay, they are disabled, pregnant, who can't go to the market. And the reflex of society, of government, is, of course, the empathy in us. We must help to connect. Right? As we are all volunteers here, it's a wonderful thing to connect. And if we are not careful, often the answer is build a bridge. Or build a bigger bridge. Build a bridge that wheelchair can cross. So people start doing this thing, pouring resources into building bridges to connect the people and the market, or the patients and the institution. But then you step back and ask, in this society, if you build a bigger bridge, where more cars can come, who benefits more? Those who are very wealthy, or those who are very poor? Right? So the debate is out there. It doesn't mean that if you build bigger structures, those who are marginalized get to enjoy it more. But there's one group of people who are very hard to reach. You build a bridge, yes, of course, the wheelchair, the disabled, the old, they will be served. But what is more difficult, I found, is no matter what you build, there is a group of people who don't want to come. You know, it's like the bridge to me is like a hypertension tablet. Right? You design better tablet, cheaper tablet, easier to swallow, more colorful. I deliver to you. Last time it was 3 times a day, now it's once a day. Right? Very convenient. Right? But if the person don't want it, then how? Then we need volunteers. We need people with compassion, with empathy, to cross the river the other way and get out to meet them. Agree? And that was my lesson. That was my lesson as I sat down there and I saw the people swinging back and forth. I also tried, enjoyable. My kids also like it, go back and forth. My wife refused to go down. Right? Yeah. But no matter what we build, and we have to build, we have to build better facilities, better delivery, better hypertension tablet. And then this is research and it will ongoing. But up in the mountain and up in some part of us, there's always this reluctance to try new things or to change our behavior, to adapt. I come back and one of the things people tell me, Singapore is very, very crowded, very, very crowded. We don't want more people. My kids who have experienced crowd in China say, not crowded one. It's all relative. Right? It's always take this example. If this room is licensed to take 100 people, and there are 20 of us here, right, having a very good time, and my old classmate come in, of course we'll make room. We'll be very happy. But if there's 20 of us here, and in comes one person we don't like, the room feels very crowded. Nothing, the rules have not changed. We have to rethink about going out to meet people where our institutions, our best institutions, cannot meet. And I think we have to listen. We can't do it alone. I couldn't do it alone. So up in the mountains, right, I was involved in community development. Worked with an organization, had the motto, caring for the poor. By sharing knowledge, we don't give out freebies. We actually share knowledge. I taught medical skills. My friend, a Filipino farmer, taught goat rearing skills. And by loving people. People really don't care what you know until you know that they know that you care for them. So this was very, very important. Okay. They have to understand that my wife and I were not there to do a PhD, do research, do survey, gather data and go home. But we are there to learn and to care with them. We skip this. And it's all about learning. So I told you, I didn't really speak Chinese when I went, right? Then one day when we give out vaccination. Vaccination is very good, low cost. But we don't know, when how to give vaccination to children who are 7 years old. So in the village they say we don't know who was born when. No IC, nothing. So how? They all look very small, so cannot use the body weight. So I had to listen. Always listen to the local people. So I went to the kindergarten and the school teachers asked, how do you decide who can come to school at what age? And they told me when the child can touch the ears, the child is ready to come to school. I say, wow, these are anatomy I never learned in medical school. I say, what do you mean? He said, 能听就能来学. So metaphorically, when 能听懂, when you can listen, you can come to school. That's a metaphorical example. So you see, when babies sleep, right, their hands are very short. Very simply, when your hand can reach over your head and touch your ear, you are old enough to come to school. And I thought, man, this is a powerful analogy. When you can learn to listen, right? When you know how to point to your ear, you are grown up. You can come to school. And I say, yeah, you go down to the village, if they can touch, means they can come to school, means you can do vaccination for them. So it's beautiful, right? And I learned it's all about years. When we talk about people who don't want to come, even if you build the best facilities, you have the best medicine, the best vaccination, they still don't want to come. We have to go. We have to go and listen. And we have to go with technology also. I couldn't climb the mountains. I mean, I couldn't really climb. Climb can go up, but cannot come down. Coming down is more difficult than going up. So I gathered volunteers, high school kids, who were in the state, say, we were quite helpless, sometimes like a helpless patient. High school kids in a very poor area say, what can we do? We are just teenagers. I say, you can do a lot. Okay? With your handphone, okay, you can do a lot. So we send them out to the mountains. They walk very fast. And there they call me. They talk to me about their patient. They could read the lab tests, the results of all the patients they were. And they just sit down in the tea shop, just take phone call. Talk. And then their handphone, no more money, very easy. China, just go to the post office, top up their card for them. Right? Another 10 and they can talk. Volunteers are so important because they help us connect. And when they came back, muddy, sweat, tired, over a bowl of noodles, they say, thank you for giving us the opportunity to help our own people. It's amazing lessons we have learned about listening. What did they do? They just went up to the mountains to listen to the patients on our behalf. I couldn't have done a lot of things without these youthful volunteers. And I share this lesson because I just want to encourage us that we can translate this to our own community. So it's all about years. So let's read this together. 1, 2, 3. Isn't that true? Right? As you sit down, as you listen to each other, and there's the danger of the internet. Because the internet is about talking your opinion. It's not really about listening. I could not have survived without internet. I send emails back to my colleagues here, my classmates here at Tan Tock Seng, saying, this one what to do, that one what to do, skin, lung, I did. Right? We couldn't have functioned without internet. But even in internet, we are realizing that a lot out there is about just firing off your piece of opinion without listening. And that is, in the long run, to the detriment of our society. So, if there's any take-home message today I want to share about volunteering, is that it forces us, it trains us, it makes us, it helps us to listen. And friends, at the end of the day, it's a very, very useful skill. Right? It makes your blood pressure go down. Okay, listening. So I come back to Singapore, very privileged, and we started working with foreign construction workers. Part of my passion of working with the many foreign workers that come to Singapore is because I was there in 15 years in China, and they tolerated me, they helped me, right? When I first went there, they say, why you come to China to work? You got some problems with your medical council in Singapore. They overcome all this suspicion. I said, no, you Singapore University grad, come here, right? Because you got some trouble there running away. So they accepted me. I felt that when I come back to Singapore, one of my dreams that we learn to accept someone else. And so I got to work with Bangladeshi workers under Health Serve. My son runs some sports project with them. And learned that they love to play cricket. It's not a natural game. So we bought a cricket bat and learned to play with them. And one day when some schoolboys said they want to volunteer, in their mind they said they want to come and wash the dormitory, clean everything. I said, wash dormitory, at the end of washing will become all dirty. Right? Because they never wash at home. Right? At home all the maid do. I said, cannot. I said, what is your CCA? And they said, my CCA, their CCA was actually cricket. I said, wonderful, play cricket with them. They love it. So we played cricket in their school grounds. And after playing cricket together, we asked the Bangladeshi, how was your day? He said, I'm many, many happy. Many, many happy. He said, why are you many, many happy? He said, for 3 years, I only dream of playing cricket. Today, I get to play cricket. He was very happy. Nothing else. We didn't give goodie bags. We just play cricket with them. And I asked him again, why are you many, many happy? He said, I'm many, many happy because today, first time, someone listened to me. Because for the game, he was no longer a Bengali road sweeper or construction worker. He was obviously a better cricket player than our schoolboys. He could teach them, he could bowl, he could play. And I think there's a power of listening to people at their level. You bring out the best in them. And it transforms so much. Okay. So Health Serve, it might just say that I happen to write some books. This is life about life in China. There's an English version and a Chinese version, Life in Yunnan. And this book is based on devotions from the book of Proverbs in the Bible. I wrote this for the convent, CHIJ, Katong Convent. They used to come up every year to do projects. Okay, all proceeds go to Health Serve. And today, special price, okay, all $5. Huh? They are available outside. But why we volunteer? In the end, it's about this. I'm learning that a successful person finds the right place for himself, but a successful leader finds the right place for others. And we are here ready as volunteers, as staff, we need to find a place where our client, our patient, our friend, okay, finds a safe place and we celebrate with them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Tan. Thank you for the very enriching speech. I think we many happy as well. Thank you for bringing us to Yunnan in the last 20 minutes. I counted, I think Dr. Tan asked you about 3 questions. So now it's your turn to ask him. You can have 10 questions. Anybody has got any questions to ask him about his experience in Yunnan? Yes.
How do I adjust to the culture shock when I first arrived there? When I first went there, it was true. The initial was very governmental. The health ministry welcomed me, and there was a banquet and all. And then after they left, I said, but this life must be very ordinary, right? Every day cannot meet people and go for banquet. I spotted a younger government official. His name is Li Kang, and he came up to me. Okay, he says, because at the time, my first meeting, I asked him, are you sure you really want me to come? I said, bring my family, my daughter 1 year old. No? And he told me he's a Aka, a tribal. He says, of course I want you to come. He says, after, he read my thoughts. He said, after all this celebration, all the banquet, all the ceremony, let me tell you. He said, I wore my first pair of trousers when I was 9 years old. I'm from the mountains. Okay, I know what it means to be poor and it's not nice. So will you come and help us go through this journey? What I'm saying is that having a friend helps. Okay. So he was a confidant, a man who walked me through the culture. He would tell me, today you do this, today you don't do this. Okay. He will bring me to the local noodle store. He says, do you know, as a government official, if I eat in the hotel, I can claim bill. But I eat noodle store, cheap, 20 cents, cannot claim bill. But you're my friend. Right. So eat noodle store with you. And I learned it through. So I think when we enter any new environment, okay, seek for a friend. Right? Yes, we have books to read, we have things to prepare, but look for a friend. Okay, that helps me a lot. Coming back to Singapore, I still go to sleep at 10 o'clock. Singapore is the pace of life, and I think Singapore really have to. I think Singapore is a place where every morning I get up, I have to teach my children, learn to say thank you. Okay, be grateful. Okay, because the pace of life can suck us dry, right? And at the end of the day, it's easy for me to be frustrated. Okay, so I think Singapore, the discipline for us when we came back was that we have to learn to consciously be thankful. In China, in Yunnan, 理所当然, it's like, sure, you be thankful because there are people who no food, I got food. There are people who no leg, I got leg. People who are blind, got leprosy, I'm okay. Right? People, wives who are beaten up badly, come and take refuge in a house, we have a nice family. So every day we are very conscious of the fact that we are alright. Okay. Come back to Singapore, I take bus, people drive Porsche, I can say, okay? So I think in Singapore, part of the adjustment to culture shock was that we have learned to be thankful. We're thankful that you got a school to go to, and thankful that each day, I think that's what we are talking about. Celebrating life, celebrating health. Be thankful for it. Yeah. Yes, sir.
What is the average traveling distance from this mountain side, a housing to any nearby clinic or hospital?
There. The villagers will say very near, don't believe them. They say, come to my clinic. I say, walk how far? Oh, 不远. The sun go up, come down still. Where? Hungry already, no. Right. So, the challenge is transportation. So, the Chinese government tried to have one village doctor every natural village. Every administrative village. Between 5 to 10 km walk.
Station in the village itself.
Yeah, so my job was to train village doctors. Yeah, so I was very conscious that when I enter a village clinic, okay, let's say if a lady has a chest infection or baby has a chest infection, when I enter it, I'm very conscious that the village doctor is the one who holds the stethoscope. I don't treat. Because if I treat the baby and the baby gets well, the next time the baby falls sick, the mother will look for me. Want the Singapore medicine. Cannot find one, no. So it's better for me to go there to village doctor who will be primary 6 education. Yeah, so usually is the only person who can read and write in the village, and those times now better. So I will sit down and I will actually ask her, what do you think? What is the sign? What's the symptom? What's the diagnosis? And she will tell me, I think it's a chest infection because of this. And I said, yes. I said, what will you do? She said, I will give amoxicillin. I said, yeah, how much? She said, I give 125 milligrams 4 times a day. I said, I agree with you. Go ahead and give. I also drink tea.
Western drugs, okay, because you are trained in Western drug medication. Your doctors primary 6, they also train in Western medication.
Yes, yeah.
Huh? Primary 6
Actually, they are already doctors before I went there. They were just appointed to be doctors. They never had any training. No training. Can become doctor one. Yeah. Sorry?
The Mandarin is so poor, but they cannot speak very good. They speak their dialect. They cannot speak very good smooth Chinese. You said the local there. So how do you communicate? How do you
actually communicate in terms of, okay, when you prescribe drugs or whatever, can they understand? Can the doctors, the appointed doctors, understand what you are trying to prescribe the drug?
That's what helped me in the end. That's what my message is today. I was forced to listen to them, and they were forced to listen to me through paradoxically, our lack of language. So we use role play, we use music, we use different things just to communicate. We draw pictures, right? And a lot of my classroom sessions were actually role play. So when I visited them, okay, it's all leading by example.
But I thought in mainland China itself, TCM in this type of the remote part of the country, TCM will be more popular than Western drug.
Now that is, okay, so if I may make the last comment because of time. Again, they were crossing the river because they were going to the market. Marketplace principle, okay, are useful. Capitalism is a good servant, lousy master. The marketplace will bring alcohol, cigarettes. Those make a lot of money. Okay. somebody to step in to influence the market. But anyway, market principle is still very important. We see the destruction of TCM because they don't recognize market principle. Let me explain very simply. My daughter was going short-sighted very quickly. I found a TCM person to do TCM, and eye surgeon here, and the myopia stopped. Right?
How long is the treatment?
6 months. Every time I paid 4 Singapore dollars. Okay. And then, but by regulation, the TCM professor can only collect 20 RMB by regulation. I said, you are so skillful, you should collect more. He says, cannot. But in order for him to survive, he sell medicine. Medicine, no regulation. One bottle can be 500, 600, 700. I said, what is in this medication? He says, secret. I said, with all due respect, I cannot give my 5-year-old daughter secret medicine. I need to know what is inside. Got mercury, arsenic, yes. I will take TCM herbs, but I will not take TCM tablets. Because of the factory. The factory has quality control issues. But because of this regulation, because of the disrespect or misunderstanding of market-based principle, the TCM trade actually is going down in China because he can only collect 20 RMB every acupuncture. And after a while, he also lose interest. His interest is to sell you the medicine. And that is very sad. So I always ask the official, I say, you cut hair, got 5 RMB, 50 RMB, 500 RMB. Why you go to the 50 RMB? Why don't you cut the 5毛钱 one? You say, 剪得不好看. I say, TCM is an art, so you need to recognize and reimburse the art in the same manner. Okay? Thank you again for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Tan.